The air stank of ozone and burned metal. Dane Corrin pressed himself over Lyra Venn as plasma rounds tore through the research bay, each impact shaking the floor beneath them. His knees bit into the cold alloy tiles, and his wounded arm throbbed, but he didn't move. "Stay down," he muttered. Lyra didn't argue. Her copper hair fanned across the floor, the faint luminescence of her skin catching the emergency lights. Her fox-like ears flattened tight against her skull as her chest rose and fell beneath him. She was trembling, but not from fear. Her kind didn't fear easily. Another burst shredded the lockers behind them. Dane's mind ran through escape options as automatically as breathing. Service tunnel, eastern wall. She'd told him that already. He doubted they'd make it, but there wasn't another choice. He grabbed the plasma cutter that had rolled from the bench. Not a weapon, but better than nothing. "Can you run?" "Can you?" she countered, eyes flicking to the blood soaking his left sleeve. Fair question. The gash from shoulder to elbow was bad, but he could still move. "On 3, he said, and didn't wait. They sprinted. His body stayed between her and the corridor, each stride sending pain shooting up his arm. A shot hissed past, grazing his ear. He shoved her into a side alcove, pressing her back against the wall as rounds sparked around them. Her pupils widened until they filled her eyes. "You're bleeding out," she said. "I'm fine." "That's not what fine looks like. We need to move before they flank us. With that arm, you'll collapse. Then I'll crawl." Her tail twitched between them, brushing his leg. "Why? What? Why protect me? You're not one of us." "Does it matter?" "Yes. Among my people, males don't." "Well, I'm not your people." The cutter hummed to life in his hand, half charge remaining. "When I move, you go for the tunnel," he said. Her hand caught his wrist. "That's suicide. That's the job. I didn't hire you. You didn't have to." The first insurgent appeared at the corner. Dane fired. The plasma bolt tore across his chest, dropping him instantly. He snatched the fallen rifle, checked the magazine, and looked back. Lyra hadn't moved. "Tunnel," he shouted. "Not without." He kissed her. Quick, hard, meant to startle her into motion. It worked. She froze, ears shooting upright, and then ran. Dane turned back into the hall, laying down precise bursts. 2 enemies dropped before he felt the click of an empty magazine. Another shape moved to flank. He pivoted, fired, missed, then something slammed into him from behind. Lyra. She'd come back. They crashed to the floor as plasma bolts scorched the air above. Dane rolled, grabbed the rifle, and returned a single, perfect shot. Silence followed. "I told you to run," he said. Her breathing came fast. "Your tactical assessment was flawed." "My what?" "You assumed I'd abandon a valuable asset." "Poor mathematics." Despite himself, Dane grinned. "More incoming," he said, hearing boots echo through the corridors. "Then we go," she said. She led the way this time, weaving through smoke and debris. The service tunnel loomed ahead, small, dark, salvation. Dane shoved her toward it. "Go. Not this again. Someone has to seal it." Her green eyes glowed in the half-light. "You've already bled enough for me." "Haven't bled nearly enough." He found the release lever. "When you get clear, tell whoever's in charge that the insurgents had military-grade weapons. This wasn't random. Tell them yourself." Her hand closed over his. "Among my people, saving a life creates a bond. Until repaid, I'm bound to you. Then I release you." "That's not how it works." Shadows filled the corridor, 6 insurgents closing fast. "It's how it works today." He pulled the lever. The blast door began its descent. Lyra's eyes widened. Then she lunged forward, caught his vest, and kissed him back, fierce, desperate. "You're an idiot," she whispered. "Been called worse." She dropped into the tunnel just as the door sealed shut. Dane turned. 3 rounds left. 6 armed hostiles. The math wasn't kind. "Drop it, human," one said. He did. Cable ties bit into his wrists, a hood yanked over his head. Someone kicked his bad arm. White pain flared. "Who sent you?" a voice demanded. "Nobody. You protected the female." "Why?" Seemed like the thing to do. Another blow. Then chaos, explosions ripping through walls, pressure wave flattening everything. Through the ringing in his ears, Dane glimpsed shapes cutting through smoke. Armored figures, sleek, precise. All female. Their weapons hummed like caged lightning. They slaughtered the insurgents in seconds. One knelt beside him, helmet retracting. Copper fur. Green eyes. "You came back," Dane whispered. "I told you," Lyra said, already staunching his wound. "You're an asset. Poor mathematics to abandon you." "Just an asset." Her tail curled lightly around his wrist. "We'll discuss that when you're not dying." As medics worked, Dane's vision dimmed. He caught her name as they lifted him onto a stretcher. "Lyra Venn," she said softly. "Dane Corrin," he managed. "I know," she murmured. "I read your file while running for my life." He almost laughed. "You have terrible hiring instincts." "I noticed." Then the world went dark. When he woke again, it was to white ceilings, alien light, and the quiet hum of machines far more advanced than anything on Earth. His arm didn't hurt. It worked. Too well. The door opened silently. Lyra entered, no armor this time, formal uniform in deep blue, insignia glinting silver. Her tail swayed behind her like punctuation to every word. "You're awake," she said. "How long?" 3 days. "Where am I?" "My world," she said, moving to the viewport. "Command installation. Northern continent." He followed her gaze and forgot to breathe. The city below shimmered, curved towers like sculpture, bridges that looked too fragile to stand yet supported bustling movement. The light was amber, softer than Earth's sun. But everyone he saw moving below, every figure, was female. "Where are the men?" he asked. "Working. Serving. Existing in capacities appropriate to their nature." He turned to her. "That's supposed to make sense to me." "It will. Eventually." She looked back out the window. "Our species evolved differently. Females lead, fight, decide. Males, support." He gave a short laugh. "And I broke your model." Her ears twitched. "You did. You pushed me behind cover and took bullets meant for me. That's not supposed to happen. Maybe your rules need rewriting." Her tail flicked once. "Matriarch Sereth would like to discuss that with you." And she is. The one who decides everything that matters. "Oh," Dane said. "So, I should probably wear a shirt." Lyra's smile was small, fleeting. "That would be advisable." Outside, the alien city gleamed beneath 2 suns, but Dane's pulse only quickened for one reason, the alien commander who looked at him like a paradox she couldn't solve. They came for him at dawn, or what passed for dawn under the amber-tinted sky. Lyra was waiting outside his quarters, flanked by 2 guards in pale armor. She nodded once. "The matriarch will see you now." Dane ran a hand through his hair. "Do I get breakfast first, or is this one of those trial before meal things?" Her ears twitched in amusement. "You'll live longer if you don't joke with her." Noted. They moved through corridors of gleaming metal and glass. The design was alien but oddly graceful, every line purposeful, every curve deliberate. Even the soldiers they passed, tall, fierce, all female, paused to stare at him. The first human male most of them had seen, walking free. Lyra walked close, her stride matching his. "Don't stare back," she said quietly. "Why not? They'll take it as a challenge." He kept his gaze forward. "Your world's got interesting customs." The chamber doors parted with a soft hiss. The matriarch's audience hall was vast, circular, filled with sunlight that filtered through lattices of gold. At the far end stood a figure taller than any of them, her silvered fur streaked with scars. She wore armor that looked functional, not ceremonial. "Dane Corrin," she said, her voice deep and resonant. "Human. Former Marine, dishonorably discharged for insubordination. Current mechanic at Research Outpost 47. Dane gave a crooked smile. "You've done your homework. I do not bring unknowns into command." She circled him once, appraising. "Why did you protect Commander Ven?" "She needed it." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I've got." Silence settled. Lyra's tail twitched nervously behind her. The matriarch, Seraph, he remembered, stopped in front of him. "Males of your species fight. We've studied you. But they fight for dominance, for territory, for ego. You fought for a stranger." "Yeah," he said. "Because it was right." Saratha's golden eyes narrowed. "Commander Ven reports that you improvised under pressure. That you neutralized 6 insurgents with limited resources while protecting a non-combatant. That true?" "Mostly luck," he said. "Luck doesn't plan ambushes," she said. "Luck doesn't bleed deliberately." She turned to Lyra. "You confirm this?" "Yes, matriarch." Lyra's tone was formal, but there was warmth under it. He risked his life when there was no tactical gain. Sarath regarded them both for a long moment, then said, "We are at war, human. Not with your kind. With ourselves. 2 factions, same species, divided for 3 decades. Thousands dead, no resolution." "Sounds familiar," Dane said softly. "Our strategies are sound. Our soldiers are capable. Our equipment superior. And yet we cannot win. Do you know why? I'd guess you're too evenly matched. Same training, same doctrine. Neither side can surprise the other." Her lips curved slightly. "You understand warfare. I understand futility." Sarath nodded once. "Then you will understand this proposal. We require an outsider's mind, someone who doesn't think like us. You will command a joint task force, elements from both factions. Your objective, end this conflict." Dane blinked. "You want me to, what? Command your army?" Sarath inclined her head. "Yes." He looked at Lyra. She didn't look surprised, only wary. "You're serious?" "Completely. What makes you think anyone will follow me?" "They will because I order it," Sarath said simply. "And because Commander Ven will serve as your liaison." Lyra's ears flattened. "Matriarch." Sarath cut her off with a look. "You volunteered." Dane studied her. "Did you?" Lyra hesitated. "I did. For reasons that are, complicated." He snorted. "Everything around here is." The matriarch stepped closer until her shadow fell over him. "You want purpose again, human. I can see it. You walked away from your world because it didn't know what to do with you. Here, you can matter. Here, you can teach us what we have forgotten, that sacrifice without ego still exists." Her words hit deeper than he expected. Maybe because she wasn't wrong. "Fine," he said. "But if I do this, I do it my way. Full authority. No political interference." "Agreed," Sarath said. You'll have everything you need. Commander Ven will brief you. The guard stepped forward, signaling the end of the audience. As they left the chamber, Dane muttered, "Guess I should have asked for a raise too." Lyra gave a short laugh. "You just got command of half the planet. Try to look pleased." "Command, sure," he said. "But no one out there wants to take orders from me. That's why I'm here," she said. "To make sure they listen." They walked in silence until they reached a lift that descended deep below the command complex. When the doors opened, Dane found himself staring at a vast underground facility, hangars, firing ranges, simulation arenas, and soldiers everywhere. "This," Lyra said, gesturing, "is your task force." Dozens of alien warriors turned to look at him. Every face was hard, every stare sharp. None looked remotely convinced. "They look thrilled," Dane muttered. "Give them reason not to be," Lyra said quietly. She stepped forward, voice carrying across the hall. "By order of Matriarch Sereth, this is Commander Corrin. He has full tactical authority. You will follow his orders as you would mine." A soldier near the front, dark fur, scar over one ear, rose. "With respect, Commander Ven, why should we follow a male?" Lyra's tail moved in a slow arc, "Because I said so." The soldier's jaw tightened, but she sat. Dane stepped up to the tactical display. A holographic map shimmered to life, showing red and blue zones across a continent. "These your front lines?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra said. "Northern faction here. Southern faction here. The middle, contested." He studied the map. "Both sides using the same strategies?" "Yes." He rotated the image, frowning. "That's your problem. You're fighting yourself." One of the younger soldiers crossed her arms. "Then what do you suggest?" "Pull back," he said. The room erupted in disbelief. Lyra stayed silent, watching him. "They'll advance," someone shouted. "Exactly," Dane said. "They'll think you're retreating. They'll push forward, overextend, and then you hit them from both sides. Fast, coordinated. You trap them in their own momentum." The protests died down. The scarred soldier eyed the map. "That might work." "Might?" Dane said. "It will, if you stop fighting like you've been programmed to." Lyra stepped up beside him. "We'll run simulations. Prove the concept." He glanced at her. "Thought you'd argue." "I prefer evidence." That earned a grin from him. "Then let's make some." The soldiers dispersed, muttering among themselves. Lyra lingered, tail curling absently near his leg. "You realize what you just did?" she asked. "Yeah." "Poked a nest full of very large, very armed hornets." "Exactly," she said. "Congratulations, Commander." They ran the first simulation within hours. Dane watched from the observation deck as the soldiers executed his maneuver. It was rough, messy, but the principle worked. When the mock enemy advanced, they walked right into a trap. Afterward, Lyra joined him at the console. "You proved your point." He shrugged. "Now comes the hard part, teaching them why it worked." "Why?" "Because if they understand it, they can adapt it. And adaptation wins wars." Her ears flicked forward, considering him. "You think differently." "Yeah," he said quietly. "That's why your boss hired me." She smiled faintly. "That's not the only reason." The lift doors closed behind them, sealing the echo of the training grounds away. For the first time since he'd arrived on her world, Dane realized he might not just survive here, he might actually belong. Days blurred into weeks beneath the surface of that alien world. Dane Corrin spent nearly every waking hour in the training halls, watching squads of warriors move through combat drills that looked flawless, and therefore fragile. They fought like machines, efficient, precise, predictable. Show me something they haven't seen, Dane said one morning as a squad completed yet another identical formation. Lyra Ven lifted a brow. You mean, break their doctrine? I mean, break their expectations. Her tail flicked once, amusement, maybe challenge. Reset the simulation, she called. Commander Corrin's joining as hostile. That earned murmurs from the assembled troops. Dane stripped down to the basics, tactical vest, rifle set to training mode, and took position in the maze of the mock city. When the signal flared, the squad entered from the south entrance in tight formation. He didn't engage from the front. Instead, he climbed 3 levels through a maintenance shaft they hadn't secured, dropped behind them, and took out 3 soldiers before they realized the threat wasn't ahead of them. By the time they regrouped, he'd already vanished. 2 more went down from above. The last 4 adapted fast, sweeping corners, checking sightlines, but not fast enough. When the final shot sounded, their commander tore off her helmet, panting. That was dirty, she said. That was effective, Dane corrected. Your enemy won't fight fair. Stop expecting them to. Lyra leaned against the observation rail, arms crossed, that faint half-smile curving her lips. You're making them angry. Good. Anger means they care enough to think. They ran it again. And again. Each time, the squad learned faster. By the 5th run, they'd begun anticipating his tricks, cutting off flanking routes, using elevation against him. When the simulation ended, sweat gleamed on every soldier, and something new flickered in their eyes, respect. The squad leader offered her hand. I'm Rhea, she said. I think I understand now. Understand what? Why the matriarch chose you. We've been fighting mirrors of ourselves so long, we forgot what unpredictability feels like. Dane shook her hand. Good. Because the enemy that's coming won't care about your traditions. Lyra joined him as the squad dispersed. You enjoy this, she said. I'm good at it. I've noticed. Her ears twitched toward the training field. They respect you now. They respect results, Dane said. Her voice softened. No. They respect you. He looked at her. The amber lights caught in her eyes, and for a second the noise of the facility faded. Her tail brushed his leg, deliberate. Commander Ven, a voice called. Verona, Lyra's second, stepped briskly from the corridor. Matriarch Sereth requires your presence. Urgent briefing. Lyra's jaw tightened, but she nodded. Acknowledged. The command briefing room was smaller than the grand chambers, but no less intimidating. Sereth stood before a holographic projection filled with motion, unknown shapes moving in the darkness of space. What am I looking at? Dane asked. Long-range scans, Sereth said grimly. 6 months ago, our outer sensors detected vessels of unknown configuration. They'll reach orbit in 8 weeks. Lyra's ears flattened. You never said anything. We didn't know what they wanted, Sereth replied. Now we do. They've been feeding our faction's intelligence, arming insurgents, manipulating both sides. They want us weak when they arrive. Dane swore softly. Classic divide and conquer. Lyra looked at him. You're saying, the Civil War wasn't organic. Somebody's been stoking it, Dane said. Both sides kept balanced, neither strong enough to resist invasion. Sereth nodded once. Exactly. We will end our conflict and prepare for theirs. You, Commander Corrin, will teach our forces to fight unpredictably, like you. 8 weeks isn't much time, he said. It's all we have. Lyra's gaze met his, intense and unguarded. Then we make it count. They worked without rest. Joint units from north and south trained side by side, old enemies learning to coordinate, to trust. Dane drove them hard, pushing every assumption they'd ever held. The transformation was real. Where once the soldiers moved in rigid lines, now they flowed, improvised, adapted. Lyra stood at his side during every session, her commands translating his rough human instincts into the elegant efficiency of her people. One night, after a 14-hour drill, they collapsed in the empty observation room. Lyra's armor lay beside her, her copper fur damp with sweat. "You ever sleep?" she asked. "When we're not being invaded," he said. She laughed, a low, tired sound. "You've changed them. You've changed me." Dane looked at her, the exhaustion stripping away formality. "That bad? That necessary?" Her tail wrapped loosely around his boot. "Before you, I thought loyalty was duty. Now I think it might be choice." Before he could answer, an alert pulsed through the room. "Incoming transmission." Saratha's voice echoed over comms. "All command staff to war room. Immediately." The holographic display showed new data. The approaching fleet had accelerated. 8 weeks just became 5, Sarath said. "Then we adapt," Dane said. Lyra's hand brushed his arm. "There's more, isn't there?" Sarath exchanged a look with her that Dane didn't miss. "Tell him," she ordered. Lyra hesitated, ears folding back. "The matriarch told me to use any means necessary to ensure your cooperation." "Meaning?" "Seduction," she said softly. "But that's not what happened. At first, I followed orders. Then you saved my life, and I realized I didn't want to follow anyone's script anymore." Dane stared at her for a long moment. "You were supposed to manipulate me." "Yes." Her voice trembled. "But now I'd take another bullet for you without hesitation. And I don't know what that means." He reached for her hand. "Means you're human where it counts." Lyra blinked hard, then smiled, a real one this time. "Terrible species name. But thank you." The next 3 weeks passed in a blur of preparation. Joint operations, live-fire exercises, fleet coordination. The matriarch's factions were slowly becoming one force. When the first battle came, it wasn't practice anymore. The insurgent stronghold they attacked was supposed to be the enemy's coordination hub. But the moment their troops breached, everything went wrong. Lyra's voice snapped through the command feed. "Contact. Unknown hostiles, armor and weapons unmatched to our data." On the screen, Dane saw them, taller, heavier, moving with terrifying precision. "External advance team," he said. "They're already here." He ordered the joint units to adapt, shift, counter. They did. The tactics he drilled into them, unpredictable, fluid, kept them alive. Then one of the squads went silent. Rhea's unit. Pinned down near the core. "I'm going in," Dane said, grabbing his gear. "Absolutely not," Lyra snapped. "Your command, you stay here." He gave her a look. "Command's useless if they die." Her ears flattened. "Then I'm coming with you." He wanted to argue but didn't have the time. "Fine. Follow my lead." They dropped from the transport into chaos, gunfire, smoke, the stench of burning metal. Moving through maintenance shafts, they flanked the enemy position and hit from behind. The fight was brutal, close. When Dane's rifle clicked empty, a burst of plasma ripped past his head, until Lyra tackled him, throwing them both to the ground. She fired from prone, dropping the last enemy. "You're hit," he said. "Flesh wound." She didn't move off him. Her breath brushed his face. "I told you I'd take a round for you. You didn't have to prove it." "Yes, I did." Her hand touched his cheek. "Because this, whatever it is, was never an order." He pulled her closer. Terrible timing. The worst. Then he kissed her. And for once, neither of them tried to calculate the risk. The stronghold's command center was chaos, flickering lights, smoke, and the smell of scorched electronics. Lyra's shoulder bled freely, though she insisted it was nothing. Dane helped her up, their boots crunching over shattered armor plating. Rhea's squad was waiting by the last active console. "Commander," she said, "you need to see this." The holographic display bloomed above the table, lines of alien script scrolling across faster than Dane could read. Lyra translated, voice barely above a whisper. "It's a countdown." "For what?" "The fleet," she said. "They're not arriving in weeks. They're here, in 72 hours. Silence fell like gravity. Dane stared at the data, approach vectors, energy signatures, ship formations. The invasion wasn't coming. It had already begun. "We have to get this to command," he said. "Now." They barely slept on the flight back. The transport thrummed through the upper atmosphere, streaks of fire cutting past the windows as debris burned up in the skies. Lyra sat across from him, her tail coiled around her wrist, green eyes fixed on the floor. 3 days, she murmured. "Is it enough?" "It has to be," Dane said. "That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got." She looked up then, studying him like she was memorizing every scar. "You make impossible things sound reasonable." He gave a tired smile. "Hazard of being wrong a lot." When they reached command, the war room was already filled with both faction leaders. The room vibrated with tension, former enemies forced to stand shoulder to shoulder. The matriarch was at the center, golden eyes unflinching. 3 days, she said, gesturing to the projection. "Our fleets combined equal half their strength. How do we win?" Dane stepped forward. "We don't play their game. We make them play ours." He laid out the plan. Asymmetric engagement. Hit-and-run tactics. Feints and collapses. Local space knowledge weaponized. It was madness, but it was also their only chance. The commanders exchanged looks, uncertain. One finally spoke. "You're asking us to trust a human male with everything we have." Dane met her gaze. "No. I'm asking you to trust the future you want." Lyra stepped forward, tail coiling in quiet defiance. "He's earned that trust." Something shifted in the room then. Sereth gave a slow nod. "Proceed." The next 36 hours were a blur of preparation. Every ship that could fly was armed. Every pilot briefed, every ground battery reprogrammed for coordination across factions. Lyra moved with quiet intensity, translating his commands, adjusting his strategies for alien systems. Between briefings, she and Dane would cross paths in silent corridors, never enough time for words, but always enough for one touch, one look that said everything. When the external fleet entered the system, it filled half the sky. Jagged ships, black as night, bristling with weapon arrays. Dane stood on the bridge of the joint flagship, eyes locked on the tactical hologram. "All wings, prepare to engage," he said. Lyra stood beside him, her hand steady on the comm rail. "Northern and Southern forces report ready," she said. "First unified deployment in 3 decades. Dane glanced at her. "Let's make it count." Their fleets moved as one. The enemy, expecting scattered resistance, met coordinated chaos instead. Debris fields mined with remote explosives forced them to slow. From the shadows of asteroids, strike craft darted out, hit hard, and vanished before retaliation could lock on. Section 4, Fall back, Dane ordered. Section 6, Press advantage. Keep them guessing. Lyra relayed the commands, her voice sharp, calm, steady. Around them, the bridge lights pulsed red as space outside bloomed with streaks of energy fire. "They're adapting," Verona warned. "Good," Dane said. "Means they're scared." Hours passed in seconds. The alien fleet fractured, its clean formations shredded by relentless unpredictability. When their flagship broke formation, an unexpected hail came through the comm grid. "They're requesting parley," Lyra said. Dane frowned. Open channel. The display flickered to life, revealing a tall, insectoid being with mirror-black eyes. Human, it said. You fight unlike any species we have encountered. We get that a lot, Dane replied. The creature tilted its head. We came to test you. Your conflict, your struggle, it was experiment. Those who fail are conquered. Those who endure, we invite to join. Lyra's ears flattened. You manipulated our war. Correction, the alien said. We forged your unity. Matriarch Sereth stepped into frame. Then you've succeeded. Now you can leave. Leave. The being's mandibles clicked. Or share power. Seretha's tail flicked once. You want alliance. Mutual benefit, the alien said. You have proven capable of adaptation. We value that. Dane looked from the alien to Sereth. Your call. This is your world. The matriarch held his gaze for a long moment before turning back to the projection. We will consider your offer, on our terms. The connection cut. For a heartbeat, the bridge was silent. Then cheers broke out, relief, disbelief, triumph. Lyra turned to him, eyes bright. You did it. We did it, he corrected. Her tail wrapped around his leg, possessive and warm. You'll learn to take credit eventually. Bad habit, he said. Not planning to fix it. Later, when the fleet stood down and the stars burned quiet again, they returned to her quarters. No guards. No interruptions. Just two people who had bled, fought, and changed everything. Lyra locked the door and turned to him. No comms tonight. No orders. Just us. Dane's laugh was quiet. You sure this isn't another tactic? She crossed to him, her tail curling around his wrist. If it is, it's mutual. Their kiss was slow this time, no explosions, no panic. Just gravity, drawing them closer. Her armor hit the floor with a soft clang, his uniform following. For once, the universe outside could wait. They fell asleep tangled together, her tail looped around his leg, her breath steady against his neck. When he woke later, Lyra was watching him, green eyes soft in the dim light. Stay, she whispered. Don't go back to your world. Build this one with me. He thought of Earth, the walls he never fit inside, the orders he never followed. Yeah, he said finally. I'll stay. Her smile was small, certain. Good. Because you're trouble. But you're my trouble. Outside, fleets that had once fired on each other now shared patrol routes. Somewhere in orbit, ambassadors prepared treaties. Two species that should never have understood each other were about to change the stars together. But inside Lyra's quarters, the universe was simple, one heartbeat against another, one promise quietly made. Thank you, she whispered as sleep claimed her. For what? He murmured. For showing us another way. He kissed the top of her head. You showed me too. And as the alien dawn rose beyond the window, two worlds began again, built not on conquest, but on the stubborn, human idea that doing what's right is worth any risk. And that, travelers, is how the legend of Dane Corrin and Lyra Ven reshaped two civilizations. One man, exiled, broken, underestimated, stood between destruction and discovery, and changed what strength meant for an entire species. It wasn't about dominance or hierarchy or the right to command. It was about the courage to protect someone simply because it mattered. Across the stars, their story became more than history, it became myth. The human who taught warriors to think beyond doctrine. The scientist who learned that leadership could mean trust instead of control. Together, they built the foundation of a galactic alliance rooted in respect, not fear. Maybe that's the real message buried beneath all the plasma fire and politics, that empathy can be as revolutionary as any weapon. That sometimes the smallest act, shielding someone in a storm of gunfire, can ignite an entirely new future. If you've enjoyed this journey through the stars, don't forget to subscribe for more tales of unlikely heroes and interstellar adventures. Like this story if you believe compassion can change galaxies, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that courage isn't about being the strongest, it's about refusing to walk away when it matters most. Because who knows? The next revolution might start with you.